to start the NFL season, and Isaiah Likely coming out making the domain guys look a little bit silly. Although we didn't really trash him on this channel, we have definitely gotten our jabs in on Likely on our Dynasty channel, and I gotta admit, he looked pretty freaking good. Not to mention, obviously, Xavier Worthy, first touch of the game is like, oh my gosh, this dude is going to score. Lots to take away. So drop a like on the stream. Give me your thoughts in the comments about this game. I'll give you kind of my rundown of how I thought this game went. First of all, very entertaining game. Football is back. I'm very excited about that. But from a fantasy perspective, there's definitely a lot to take away from this game. And obviously, the number one thing that's going to be talked about over the next couple of days is going to be the tight end situation in Baltimore. Because as everybody knows, you had Mark Andrews being drafted in the 5th round this year, came out, didn't really do anything at all. Isaiah Likely had 9 receptions on 12 targets, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Mark Andrews, 2 receptions, 14 yards. 26 fantasy points versus 3 fantasy points. I mean, that's significant. That's significant, right? And so, you know, and again, it's week 1, and there's going to be a video coming out tomorrow, and you're going to see what we say about, you know, taking reactions from week 1. But Isaiah Likely, man, I mean, he looked freaking good, and he was an inch away from having an extra, you know, 8 points on top of that. I mean, he's, well, I don't know, maybe it's an Isaiah Likely breakout game, but like I said, drop a like. We'll talk about all this real quick, and we'll kind of talk about where you should go with this. I mean, you can say, yeah, let's jump on the Isaiah Likely train, or, you know, I'm not buying the Isaiah Likely stuff. Either way, he's definitely going to be one of the hottest waiver pickups in week 1. He's going to be a guy that people are clamoring to get. And I definitely think that we should be careful with how much of our waiver budget we're spending on Isaiah Likely. That's what I'll say first. Just be a little bit careful with that. So let's see. Mahomes had 16 points, 291 yards, touchdown, interception. He obviously looks fairly good. Pacheco with 15 points, solid start to the season for him. Worthy with 20 points, obviously. I was 2 Xavier Worthy receptions away from hitting on an underdog parlay, which kind of pissed me off. But obviously Xavier Worthy looked good. They let the Kansas City Chiefs get the fastest guy in the world, and look what he did in his first game out there. Zay Flowers had 10 targets, 6 of those were receptions. He only had 11 points. It seemed like Zay Flowers did a lot more than that, right? He really only had 11 fantasy points. Rashad Bateman really didn't do anything until that catch at the end. And so the talk about Rashad Bateman being the wide receiver 1, maybe it was a little bit premature. Kelsey didn't really do anything in this game either. I mean, we're talking about tight ends that disappointed. Kelsey had 3 catches for 34 yards. And so, like, you know, on Kelsey's standard, Kelsey was being drafted higher than Andrews. But it is week 1. And so I know you guys are all here. What's up? Yeah, missed it by a toe. Monster game, crazy finish. It was really good. He did look good. I got to admit, Likely looked pretty freaking good. And again, anytime you're getting 12 targets, I mean, he got more targets than any other player on this team. Obviously, Flowers was second with 10 targets, but 12 targets and caught 9 of them. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I wonder if we kind of see a changing of the guard here at tight end with Likely with Andrew. Should I go after Zay? I mean, Zay looked good. I think they were clearly making it a priority to target Zay Flowers. The problem is the ADOT, right? I mean, he's got 6 receptions, but he's only got 11 points in half PPR leagues because, you know, like I said, he had 6 receptions for 37 yards. Q saying you told y'all about Likely. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's possible that we were wrong about Isaiah Likely. Would not be the first time we were wrong about something. But is Likely a tight end 1? So in terms of, like, from a fantasy perspective, yeah, you could say maybe that Likely is going to be a tight end 1. But they were using him as a wide receiver. That's probably the difference. When you're talking about, like, how he was being used on the field, he was being used as a slot wide. I think all of you guys would agree. Like, let me know in the comments. Drop a like if you haven't, by the way. We're doing a 12:10 a.m. stream. How about that? This is all new, so we're gonna see if people like this. But yeah, who's dropping? I'm not doing that. I am not doing it. I'm gonna caution against it. Not only because I think, you know, with Likely it could be something, it could not be something, but do you really want to drop your entire free agent budget on tight end? I can tell you, by the end of Sunday, you're going to have other guys you want to spend your entire free agent budget on. Andrews, again, like, there are games, and when you're looking at his targets tonight, he had 2 targets and caught both of them 14 yards. And Travis Kelce only had 4 targets and caught 3 of them. And there are just some games where tight ends aren't as involved, and this was one of those games. But again, The kicker here is Isaiah Likely was pretty much being used as a wide receiver. He's pretty much being used like we expect Brock Bowers to be used. He's pretty much being used like the Lions use Sam Laporta. And so at the point where he's being used like that, then you do have to talk about him being in serious consideration for somebody you're starting every single week in your fantasy lineup. I do think Andrews is fine. I'm not worried about Andrews. Didn't see P. Ryan. You saw him a couple times on third down there, right? But didn't do a lot. Thank God he traded Chase and Mark for Puka, Laporta, and Zamir in Dynasty. That honestly looks like a pretty good trade at this point. Ravens put Likely on their advertisements with top teammates. I did see that. I did because people were freaking out about it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, I'm sure they're happy about that now. Almost grabbed Likely before the game. It would have been a good call. Flowers again. I like that he's getting 10 targets. I like that he caught 6 of those. But again, he's only got 37 yards, right? And so when you're talking about that in particular, I don't love that. He did have 2 carries, which is it's nice. They were definitely making Zay Flowers a feature portion of their offense. I think it's encouraging that he's getting the volume that he needs to get to take a step up. But again, he's going to have to get some more yards, and he's going to have to score touchdowns if he's going to take that next step. So dropping waiver wire unlikely. I think a lot of people are going to do this again. Sell high, unlikely. In redraft, I don't think he's rostered anywhere, so I don't think you're selling it in Dynasty. I mean, man, I don't feel like I'm the guy to ask in Dynasty. I mean, I was trashing him all offseason, so Lamar sucks at passing. I thought Lamar looked fine tonight, but Carson Steele didn't see a lot of the field. And obviously, again, when you're looking at the running back 2 reps in Kansas City, you saw P. Ryan. He had 1 reception. Carson Steele had 2 carries. Pacheco had all the other carries. So it does look like Carson Steele's going to be probably the second running option in Kansas City, at least right now. It just doesn't really mean anything. He's not doing anything that's going to be fantasy productive. Yeah, Zay did need that last touchdown. And again, that's what Zay Flowers needs, right, to kind of take the next step up to be an elite wide receiver 1. That's what he needs. He got the targets. He gets 10 targets. Like, that's exactly what we want to see. We've got to see him get the touchdowns. We've got to see him capitalize on some of that. Yeah, Lamar did miss 2. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yeah, I mean, again, first game of the season, I guess I'm just baking in week 1 to all of these guys' performances, right? Including Likely's, including the good ones, including Xavier Worthy. That said, I mean, obviously, if you have Worthy on a Dynasty team, I have him on a redraft team too, and a couple Dynasty teams. I think I drafted 2 of them this year in Dynasty leagues. You're pretty freaking happy about that. But it's going to be somebody different, I think, every week with these Chiefs, though. So, Worthy needs more touches. Yeah, again, I was 2 catches away from hitting on that parlay. He had 2 touchdowns on like 3 touches total. He's efficient as frick, though. Likely for Andrews in Dynasty. I know you're joking. I mean, unless you're saying you're getting Andrews, I probably would capitalize and take Andrews there. I think it would be a little bit of an overreaction to say that Likely should be more valuable than Andrews in Dynasty. Give Ravens the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Mark. My hope is they're keeping it safe with him because of the car accident. Andrews doesn't bounce back against Vegas. We're in trouble. Yeah, let's give him a couple weeks, I think. Again, weeks 1, 2, and 3 of the NFL season are usually like you can't take much away from that. Passing on Worthy and drafting May a mistake. No, I don't think so. I think you're going to realize here in a couple weeks that was a fine choice once May gets on the field. Although Worthy was the first guy I was drafting outside of those quarterbacks, and I'm pretty happy about it. Yeah, most of the plays he was in the slot. Did everyone sell Likely this offseason? If they listen to us, they did. But again, that could look fine in 2 weeks. It's week 1. It's good to acknowledge in week 1, this guy looked really good, while also saying, doesn't mean he's going to look good all season. And that's not me having take luck. Obviously, he looked much better and was used much more than I thought he would in week 1. So we'll see. It's going to be something to monitor. He's definitely going to be a hot topic going into week 2. Flowers had a bunch of offensive penalties against him, which would have been big plays. Yeah, I will say this. The illegal formation stuff was driving me freaking insane. It was freaking nuts, man. I did not like that. Should you sell high on Worthy? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going to pay anything for him yet. Because here's the thing. Like, if somebody will, maybe. But the guy only did have 3 touches, right? He had 1 carry and 2 receptions. He did have 3 targets. You've got to see more volume than that on a consistent basis, and I'm not sure it's going to be there for him. But with that being said, it just depends on what you can get. Maybe in a home league you can take advantage of it. I feel like a smart fantasy player is not going to pay anything of note for Worthy. What would you trade for Likely in Dynasty? Do not buy Isaiah Likely this week. Do not buy him this week. This is your worst time to buy him is right now. So just let it breathe a little bit. If you really want him in a couple of weeks, he should be a little bit cheaper. Likely is Lamar's safety blanket. It did look like that. Sell high on Likely or hold. Again, in a redraft league, I think with Isaiah Likely, I definitely think that you can go get him off of waivers. In a Dynasty league, I'd probably just hold. Unless you can sell really, really high. I don't think anybody's doing it. Waffle House, I appreciate you, bud. Love this post-game reaction. Thanks. Appreciate it. We're trying this out. You guys, like I said, drop a like if you like this and if you want to jump on after some of these primetime games. I'm willing to do this. We're obviously still growing this channel, but it's kind of just how many of you guys say that you like it. So if you're here and you enjoy this type of stuff, drop a like and say in the comments that you want to do more stuff like this. Again, I was like, I wasn't even going to do it. I was going to go to bed, and I was like, you know what? I'll get on and see who's on. So I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys are all here. But thanks, Waffle Hauser. You know I appreciate you, buddy. I'll turn the music on for you guys. There we go. All right. Justice Hill had the receiving role over Henry. Absolutely. And you knew that was coming. Derrick Henry's not going to catch passes, right? And so, but with Justice Hill, let's talk about that, right? He had 6 receptions on 8 targets. It could be something. He's definitely also going to be somebody that people are going to be looking at on the waiver wire in week 2. 52 yards. He only had 1 carry, but again, he is the receiving back. He is the third down back. And so with Henry, it's 13 carries, 46 yards, and what? A touchdown. He got the touchdown. That's what he needed. But with Hill, he's the receiving guy. Henry did have 2 targets, didn't catch any of them. You expect that from Derrick Henry. But again, I do think that Hill is going to get some looks for waivers this week. Are we worried about Henry? I'm not worried about him. I mean, he obviously was getting the volume. Nobody else was really getting volume. Lamar was running a lot tonight. I'm not sure you see Lamar run that much. And part of that is because that Kansas City front is so dominant. And Chris Jones is so, I mean, he didn't really have a ton of time to just sit in the pocket tonight. When Lamar has that time, maybe I'm going to expect, A, Mark Andrews to get more targets, but B, Derrick Henry to see a little bit more consistent workload. And I'm not freaking out. He got his touchdown. He got his 10 points. Like, I'm not freaking out about the point is you don't freak out about anything in week 1. So likely he's a good handcuff if you can afford it. But if you need a tight end, you can probably still start him. So funny enough, in the Flock League, Joe, who is our developer, drafted Likely and everybody trashed him for it because he drafted him to handcuff with Andrews. And now Joe looks like a genius. Although Joe did not start Isaiah Likely this week. So that's kind of entertaining. Would you trade Terry for Likely in Dynasty? No. I'm not trading for Likely in Dynasty this week. I'm not trading for him in redraft. Again, it's not because I don't like Likely. It's because I'm just never going to reaction buy. I think a good practice is when you have a guy go off in a game like this, have a breakout game, don't panic, don't go buy, don't scramble to go get him on your team. You're probably going to end up overpaying. And when you're doing that, when you're approaching somebody who owns a player that just broke out, you're approaching them from a point where you have no leverage, and that's when you end up making trades that you regret down the road. So I would just chill a little bit. I like it. I like it. I'm glad that he had a good game. I really am. I don't, contrary to popular belief, I really don't care if we're wrong. But if Likely does well, I'm good with it. Andrews is fine. Calm down, chat. Love the post game. Glad you like it, man. Thanks for the super chat. And yeah, I do. I think Andrews is fine too. Again, I think this is going to be what you see a lot of these NFL teams doing now, and maybe this is what the Ravens are going to do, is you see them going, 2 tight ends. One of them is essentially a slot, and the other one is a tight end. A lot of people say this is how they're going to use Mayer and Bowers, which Mayer's not near the tight end that Mark Andrews was, but Mayer was a decent prospect. So I think Andrews is going to be fine. I think there are going to be games Andrews has 8 targets, and games Likely doesn't. I don't think this is indicative of something we're going to see the entire season. I don't think it's guaranteed. But, it is fun to speculate. And it was fun to see him get a lot. I seems like he was kind of his check down guy. So I agree, though. I think Andrews is fine. So thanks, Cameron, for your super chat. And thanks for popping in. Appreciate you guys. Drop a like if you enjoy the stream, but and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, by the way. We're obviously committed to giving you some good fantasy content. For free agent bidding, Likely and Hill on the waivers, how much do you think is reasonable to put down on both of them? Let's wait. We've got the playbook coming out Sunday night. Sunday night in the playbook, we'll have all of the games from Sunday I can evaluate, and then I will tell you, and then Monday morning we'll do the waivers video. I will give you how much to put down on both of those guys in that video so I can see the entire body of work over week 1, see whoever else broke out, see whoever else had good performances, and then we can evaluate. Because again, if you have a stud rookie wide receiver come out and dominate week 1 like you had last year, which is probably not going to happen, but if you have something like that, you're obviously going to want to prioritize wide receiver and running back over going and getting a tight end. You just are, unless you're playing in a tight end premium league. So I don't think Likely's probably going to be a league winner, but then again, Sam Laporta was, so maybe he could be. Biggest winner tonight is Lamar's rushing. That O-line. Yeah, he ran the ball a lot tonight. How many yards did he have? 16 carries for 122 yards tonight. That's significant, guys. I mean, you were getting Lamar in the 4th, 5th round. If you got him, I would feel pretty good about that because the line didn't. Again, the Chiefs' defensive line, really good. So you're not always going to be playing. You're not always going to be playing a line that good. But in terms of this week, yeah, it looks like Lamar was running the ball a lot. You're going to be going live after night games. I can if you guys want me to. Again, I'll do it if I haven't even checked anything, but I'll check the reactions. I'll check what you guys are saying in the comments. And if we want to do this more often, I'll come hang out whenever the frick you guys want. We can talk about it. Obviously, I'm sitting down there watching the games, yelling at my TV just like you guys. So Lamar looked like he trusted Likely over anyone in the wide receiver room. I agree with that. I agree. I think it looked like he trusted Lamar and Zay Flowers, and they wanted to get Zay Flowers involved. But in terms of I mean, he clearly likes targeting Likely over Bateman, in my opinion. So, Worthy is a solid flex until Hollywood comes back. And this is exactly what we thought would happen here. As soon as we heard that Hollywood was hurt, it was like, okay, this really opens the door for Xavier Worthy. This really opens the door for him to come in and establish himself early and then break out from there. And that's what you saw happen tonight. I mean, 2 touchdowns in his first game. You can call that a breakout, but again, it's not going to happen like that where he has 3 touches and scores 2 touchdowns. It's, you're talking Randy Moss stat line right there, right? But again, it is encouraging to see the rookie come out and do that well in his first game. The line is a problem for Henry and Andrews. I agree with that. That could be an issue especially between the 20s for Henry. But again, with Henry, it was always going to be like, is he going to lead the league in touchdowns? That's kind of why he was a risky pick, because it's like, if he's not going to lead the league in touchdowns, like, what's he going to do? He's got a pretty low floor. For a guy that has a really high ceiling, he's got a pretty low floor because he's not getting in the receiving targets. And lo and behold, you have Justice Hill out here getting 8 targets tonight. I think Justice Hill could end up being as valuable a waiver target. Maybe not. I think he could end up being in that conversation to be as valuable as Likely, though. Like, as a running back like that, getting 8 checkdowns a game. That's flex spot glory right there on a good offense. Heck yeah. It looked like Likely was the game plan for them tonight. It did look like that. We'll see if it continues. Andrews is fine. Don't overreact. Trade Henry the other day. Yeah, doesn't look bad right now. Again, week 1. And the other thing to keep in mind is with Derrick Henry especially, Derrick Henry always starts the season slow. And as he goes on and as he gets hit more, he gets better. It's kind of ridiculous, but he played in the AFC South for so long that I got really used to it as a Colts fan. So keep that in mind. He is a unicorn still. But again, at some point, Derrick Henry is just going to be done. I don't know if it's now, but at some point it will happen. Had Worthy on my bench, rip, but not too pissed. Don't be pissed. I had him on my bench in a league. Like, it's not a big deal. Played London, Pittman, and Rice in the flex. He played Rice, and Rice had 17 points or something, right? Yeah, Rice had 17 points, 7 receptions, 103 yards. People will probably end up talking about Worthy. I'm more worried about Rice. 9 targets, caught 7 of them, had 100 yards. So without a touchdown, Rashee Rice comes out and puts up 17.5 in his first game. I'm pumped about that. I'm pumped. I got a lot of Rashee Rice because I bought low on him everywhere. I'm pumped about that one. Henry's usage wasn't exciting. A lot of people are saying that. Again, it was a high-scoring game, right? You got 47 total points here. I think, and Lamar passed the ball 41 times in this game. I don't think you're going to see that every game with this Ravens team. I don't. Just week 1. But a lot of people are going to be discouraged by Derrick Henry after this week, and I don't really think I'm going to go tell people to buy him. I'm going to lose on purpose to get Likely on waivers. That's why you've got to go to FAB, man. You've got to go to bidding. Bidding makes it so much more competitive and so much more fun. What was the main takeaway in fantasy and dynasty from this game? From a fantasy perspective, Rashee Rice was a steal this year in drafts. That was my main takeaway. From a dynasty perspective, my main takeaway was we could have been wrong about Isaiah Likely. Mark was being used for blocking because of the O-line. Yeah, I did see that. Somebody's like, they got Mark Andrews out there playing left tackle, which is to some extent was kind of true. But yeah, the question is if that becomes the norm. I agree with that. Looks like Likely is going to work as a second receiver to Flowers, and if that's the role he fills, then it's going to get really interesting. Again, I want to see all Sunday, but we'll be giving you some really specific, actionable advice on like how much of your free agent budget to go spend on Isaiah Likely. Wasn't starting a rookie over you. I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that, dude. I don't blame you. I didn't start him this week in a league again. Yeah, I think we covered Henry now. I think so. If you got any more questions about Henry, let me know. But again, it's a guy that gets better over the season. It's a guy that saw, I think, less work tonight than he will see. He did get his touchdown. Obviously didn't get any receiving work, but we didn't expect that. And so, you know, it could go one way or the other. I don't know. Yeah, I forgot to bring water up here. My mouth is dry. Yeah, Lamar rushing upside. Not raising alarm bells on Kelsey yet. But, yeah, I mean, it's just funny. Rice is kind of Mahomes, like, it seems like he's Mahomes' safety blanket, right? That's what it looked like. And that's what I'm saying. One of my biggest takeaway from tonight is like Rashee Rice is the truth, man. He's the truth. And I don't think he's getting suspended this year. So have James Cook and Ramondre and half PPR as a fine stack. Should be trying to level up. In a half PPR league, I think it's fine. If you've got really good receivers, I think it's fine. Obviously, if you can level up, do it. But I think it's okay. Kelsey sucks. Yeah, until he has 9 catches next week and 2 touchdowns. I mean, and then everybody's going to, oh, I do have water. Then everybody's going to be like, oh, Kelsey's back. Taylor Swift, all this, you know. I think it's only a matter of time for Kelsey. It's always somebody different with Mahomes, right? It's always somebody different. We know that. Worthy moving up the depth chart. He's open several more times. I think if he has another good week, Mahomes will start looking his way faster. That's the thing. He's going to have to look his way more often and faster. But he's already starting, I think. So, I mean, I think he's gonna be there in front of Hollywood probably. Too many Pfizer commercials. Post-game content's wide open. None of the bigger channels are doing it. There we go. We can come hang out. You guys can ask me questions if you want. We can talk about whatever. But I didn't realize the Ravens O-line was going to be a bigger problem as they were very concerned about the O-line. And again, maybe they piece it together. A lot of times that's the same. Again, it's week 1. Let's see by week 3 how they're doing. Let's see by week 3 how they're doing. But tonight, obviously, they did not look good. I agree. Henry should take some of those yards Lamar shouldn't have rushed. I totally agree with that. I think that's true. Lamar really taking his time scrambling around the pocket. Yeah. Andrew's non-existent. Yeah. And again, I think you're not going to see that every week, but I think him and Likely can both be productive, and that's what's going to be important to see how that kind of balances out. People are going to react, regret a couple weeks. Yeah, the video coming out tomorrow is going to tell you guys kind of our strategy for approaching week 1 because it can get so crazy. What's up, Nate? Good to see you, my buddy. They aren't facing Kansas City every week. Very true. Andrews was slow, Likely's a star. Could be true. Andrews was slow, but like the post-game immediate thoughts. Thanks. Stock up on some adrenal shots for Nathan. Yeah, Nathan's not going to be on these streams. Nathan is sleeping, for sure. I mean, I don't even know if Nathan stayed up for the whole game, so. Maybe he did. I don't know, but I haven't seen him. I haven't been messaging him. I messaged him earlier in the game. We were talking about Rashee Rice. So Nathan and I do this convenient thing where we victory lap the guys we're right about, but we didn't say a single thing about Likely tonight, which is hilarious. But I'll be the first one to say we were potentially wrong about Likely. Nathan will be like, well, blah, blah, blah. He'll have to take a clock. And we have seen Likely have good games before. That's a really important point. Yeah, I mean, let's look. Like, I wish I could just show you guys this. Likely, let's look at Likely some of his games last year, because it's not like he hasn't had this game before, right? 2023. He had a game of 19 points and 18 points last year, but obviously that the difference was Andrews was out at the end of the year. You did see a couple of those 19, 18 points games also in his first year, but again, the difference this time is he did it while Andrews was on the field. And I think that's a significant difference, because if they can both be on the field and both be productive, then that's a different story. Yeah, it's one game. I agree. You think they go heavy with 2 tight end sets? They certainly did tonight. I think so too. And they normally do. That's a great point. And again, if they feel like you're using one of the tight ends as a slot, then it's not like it's not like you're putting Mark Andrews out there next to, I don't even know, Tucker Kraft. Like, I mean, they weren't even using Likely like that. So It's interesting. On the last drive, Lamar really owned the Chiefs, except for the miss. Yeah, he did miss that throw to Flowers. How you doing, man? You got Ingram and Goddard. Drop Goddard and pick up Likely. Honestly, I've got a league where I've got Goddard. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should be doing that. Should I do that? You guys want to tell me if I should do that? Are taking Goddard or Likely? I want to see. I want to see how much. I want to see how much you guys are overreacting to this. You taking Goddard or Likely rest of the season? Let me hear it. Interested to see these poll results. If you really want to build your channel when you do live, go vertical. It gets so many views. Vertical. What does vertical mean? Like my camera? I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me, Brett. I want to build my channel. That's true. We're working on it. Henry's another dude past his prime. Could be. He's old now. Lamar got sacked less than Mahomes. That's true. That is true, by the way. Yeah. What would you pay for Andrews in Dynasty? In 2 seconds. Would I pay a first for Andrews? I wouldn't right now because nobody's. I don't think anybody's gonna expect a first. So, if you can really buy him low, do it. I'm not sure that you can, but don't overreact after week 1. Yes, soap opera. Well, what do you think on Pacheco? Gave up Rashad and Bucky for him. Pacheco is what Pacheco is. If Pacheco doesn't score the touchdown, he's looking at 9 points tonight. 2 catches for 30 yards, which he did have the long one that helped. 15 carries for 45 yards, so 3 yards a carry. Not good at all. But against a good defense, so it was a tough matchup for him. He was he was almost exactly what I expected tonight. He was projected 14 points, had 15. So, Pacheco's cheeks. Pirine is interesting. I just don't think Pirine gets enough volume, but they did say he's going to be like the Jerick McKinnon guy there now. But jumping to the Eagles, could Barkley have CMC potential in Philly? He's never had this team this good around him. Yeah, I think he could. I think he could have CMC potential. Just got to stay healthy, but so did CMC, and he did. Zay would have had 13 targets without the penalties, PPR steal. I think Zay, yeah, I think you're in a full PPR league especially, like he's a freaking killer. So, sell high on Rice. I don't know his touchdown upside. I wouldn't sell high on Rice. I don't care about the touchdown upside. You got a guy that's had 7 receptions for 100 yards, didn't score a touchdown, and has 17 points. He's a super high floor guy. I'm definitely not selling high on Rice. Definitely not doing. I don't agree with you on that one. I think I love having Rice on my teams right now. I feel really good about it. The receiving touchdown from Worthy was mostly because of communication with the Ravens D. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and Humphrey thought there'd be help. The guy doesn't get that wide open unless there's some miscommunication, right? It's not like Xavier Worthy just blew past him and he beat him by 20 yards in a 10-yard span, right? Yeah, and again, how often does that happen? And you can say the same thing about Likely and his touchdown, and it was a great throw by Lamar, but with that being said, the difference there is Worthy had 3 targets, Likely had 12. So, yeah. Yeah, it is better. It is better when people drop just random money on these. Yeah, that's why it's fun. It's because it kind of weeds out people who overreact to things like this. Should I just drop Pirine? I'm pretty sure Pacheco just threw up when he went out. Yeah, you know what? Mason said he was a genius for picking up Pirine in our league this week. I don't think he's doing anything. But, unless you get somebody like better off of waivers, you can hold him on your roster. But it's going to depend on who you got. Any touchdown-dependent players you noticed today? Obviously, the only guy there that really fits that is Xavier Worthy. But he is the fastest man on the freaking planet. So, I'm not going to call anybody touchdown-dependent yet. Likely wasn't touchdown-dependent. And the only other guys that scored touchdowns for the running backs. Derrick Henry is touchdown-dependent. We know that. Pacheco is somewhat, but I'm not ready to put that label on anybody yet. Gray got paid today. I didn't know that. He's a solid player, man. He's good for them. Him and Justin Watson getting their 1 or 2 catches a game. You got Taysom Hill, who's listed as a tight end. Rip your Andrews Sayers. Maybe not yet, though. Should I trade away Mahomes and Rice for Burrow and Kupp? No. I just hold. I'd hold. Is it time to panic about Kelsey? Are you guys panicked about Kelsey? I'm not panicked about Kelsey yet. It's week 1. Picking up Likely to have Taysom as backup tight end, Kittle as main, currently not on any team. There you go. That works. Picking up Likely. Can I go get Andrews? You could. You probably get him pretty cheap. Ravens O-line probably should, 6 penalties in the first quarter. It was, yes. There's also that part of it too, and that was so annoying. I got Andrews. Should I try to get likely from waivers? Budget of 200. If you got Andrews, I think it's a pretty safe bet that you should probably go get him. Just don't drop the whole thing on him. Again, we got to see Sunday. I know you're happy about Rashid, dude, and I said it in the buys video when we did it in Austin. I knew you'd be pumped, but we told everybody, didn't we, Zach? We told everybody. How about that? Bowers or likely? Can I see Bowers play first? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You have waivers Saturday, but if you have Kelsey in Dynasty, obviously you can't sell after tonight. Got to hold until he has a game. No. You're not selling. You're not selling the guy that has a bad performance in week 1, and you're not buying a guy that has a good performance in week 1. You're not. You're just not making any market moves on those guys. Top performers, bottom performers, don't touch them. Anyway. God, I dropped Bowers for likely. Andrews didn't look good tonight. Again, let's see Bowers play, but it's Andrews. I don't think Andrews is cook. Likely, again, I'm thinking about it. Anyone here started likely? Did anybody start likely? I don't think anybody started freaking likely tonight, dude. Yeah, you got Worthy against you. That sucks. Pacheco had a 20-yard run called back. That's true. Really hoping that the Raiders use Bowers likely. Have him starting this week too. Worthy, Bowers, Harrison this week. Dang, you got some rookies, man. You got some rookies. How much free agent for likely out of 1,000? I will give you that answer Sunday night for the playbook and Monday morning for the waivers video. Because, again, I want to see the other guys on waivers this week. You can win your league with waivers in week 1. You really can. It happened. Kyron, Puka, Laporta, Purdy, they're all those guys last year were on waivers week 1. And so, but I don't want to tell you right now to go drop half your waiver budget on Isaiah Likely before seeing what happens on Sunday. So, you're worried about Rice's target share when Brown returns? No, not at all. No, if anything, you should be worried about Xavier Worthy when Brown returns, not Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is always, because Rice is the slot guy, and the way that he's being used, and you saw it, it's get in between the defense, intermediate, usually 5 to 10 yard targets, 5 to 12 yard targets, but he gets so much yak, man. I mean, I'm curious if somebody can find how much yak he had tonight, that would be great. I don't know where to find that right now. I don't know who updates it that quick, but I want to know how much yak he had tonight. He had a lot tonight. So, no, I'm not worried about his target share. I'd be more worried about Xavier Worthy if I were you, but Andrew's owner. Yeah, that's all right. I didn't draft a ton of Andrews this year. I'm kind of glad. I almost drafted him the other night. Rasheed is Amon-Ra Jr. Honestly, that's not. Amon-Ra's better in the red zone, but, Would you trade Henry after this game? No. I'm not trading anybody after a bad game in week 1. Thanks for subbing. Appreciate it, Jacob. But no, I wouldn't trade him yet. Let's just hold. Unless you get, again, you're going second, third round in fantasy draft. So if you can get out and get somebody in that range, so people aren't going to, people are going to pay the same price for him, sure, you can do that. The problem is nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Derrick Henry sucked. I'll give you Tony Pollard for him. That's what people are going to do. And so I wouldn't let people take advantage of you. I just hold. I think he's going to be fine. Just one game. Yeah, likely as a wide receiver with the tight end designation, must buy. Thinking about it. I might have to go get him on my waivers. Honestly, have you guys seen my flock team? That might be the missing piece to my flock team. I've got ETN, Kyron Williams, Amon-Ra, Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, Kenneth Walker, Pollard, Keon Coleman, D-Hop, Jacoby Myers. But my tight end, and I got Jared Goff and Jaden Daniels, my tight end is Goddard. I think my last piece on that team might be freaking Isaiah Likely. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a video here for the flock league. I'm going to have to figure that one out. Pacheco is touchdown dependent kind of. Yeah, a little bit. But I got Rashee at 83. That's nuts, man. I got him in some good prices this year, too. Worthy sell high. I don't think anybody's going to pay anything high for him, but how high should we be aiming is a good question. You were getting him 6th, 7th round this year, mostly 7th round probably. I would want somebody in the 4th or 5th round if you're going to sell right now. I'm not moving off of him for what he was just going. He just came out and had 20 points in the first game. If somebody doesn't want to overpay, then they don't get him. You just keep him. And, yeah, Sheik says I would just hold him, and I think I agree with that. I traded Wicks for Rice in my home league. The new guy's banging his head on a wall right now. Yeah, and so I just think a lot of people were scared about Rice in the situation and things like that, and people kind of forgot how easy the targets he got were last year. And man, 17 points, no touchdowns. It's beautiful. My favorite type of player is a non-touchdown dependent wide receiver, and Rashee Rice is the definition of that. Hollywood and Rice play different roles. Yeah, completely. Yeah, Hollywood is going to stretch the field. Rice is going to be that slot, short to intermediate game guy. 100% agree. Full lineup this week is Stroud, Achane, Walker, Harrison, Collinsworthy, Ayuk, Bowers, and Purdy. He's a solid lineup, man. You got assuming it's super flex, you got the Purdy and Ayuk stack there. You've got two solid running backs, starting a rookie at tight end, but we'll see what he does. Most interested to see in the Eagles-Packers game for Dynasty. For Dynasty, probably Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. That's who I'm interested in. Or even you could say Dontavion Wicks and Romeo Doubs. I want to see the Packers wide receivers in this game. I trade Rice to get DJ Moore. I'm not sure I would do that. I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Rice has a clear path to more targets. DJ Moore is a better receiver, but DJ Moore I feel like has more target competition there with Keenan Allen. I don't know. There's Kelsey's on this team. It seems like a lateral move to me, and so when I have lateral moves like that, I kind of just want to stay put. But thoughts on Mahomes? We haven't talked about Mahomes yet. Let's talk about Mahomes. Mahomes had 16 points tonight. He was 20 of 28. He had 291 yards, a touchdown, a pick. The pick was weird, not Mahomesy. 2 carries for 3 yards, and then a reception for 2 yards. It says nice. He did get a point or a half point in half PPR leagues because he caught his own pass, and so I thought Mahomes looked fine. Obviously, not a ton of passing. Yeah, Lamar threw the ball 41 times compared to Patrick Mahomes 28 times. So had Patrick Mahomes thrown the ball 41 times, you're talking about almost 400 yards and probably 2 touchdowns. But Mahomes doesn't need to do that for the Chiefs to win, and we've seen that, especially documented last year. And I think you're going to see more of these 16, 17-point games from Mahomes. 1 touchdown. A lot of people are like, hey, he's going to throw 45 touchdowns this year. It's possible he does. But I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and I'm not saying this to victory lap because I like Patrick Mahomes a lot as a player and as a fantasy asset, especially Dynasty. But in redraft, I didn't draft a single Patrick Mahomes this year, and I wouldn't touch him. And I didn't want to come out and be like, yeah, I'm avoiding him and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't because he doesn't have any rushing upside. So unless he's tearing the roof off the place with touchdowns, he's not really returning on his ADP. And he can still do it. I mean, he could throw 4 touchdowns each of the next 3 games and easily, he's he's a cheat code at that point. But I didn't draft a lot of them this year. So I'm not disappointed that he got 16 points today. I feel totally fine about that. Tej, thanks for your super chat, my friend. We appreciate it. And you got the sunglasses emoji. Thanks for jumping in here, Tej. We appreciate you, man. Similar ADP. Dynasty trade win streak. Got Burrow in London for Lamar and Christian Kirk. Jeez. McBride for Andrews and a third. Wow. Someone sent me J. Jeff for Higgins and Olave. Your team just got really freaking good. Okay, so follow up from the super chat the other day, if you don't mind. I selected Lamb, Collins, Waddle, and more in the first 4 rounds. And then Kamara, Swift, and Najee. Any thoughts on the strategy? And no tight end. Okay, so no tight end. So Lamb, Collins, and Waddle's a great start and more. So you went heavy wide receivers, but you got some decent running backs with Kamara and Swift. I like this strategy, especially in a 3-flex league. You've got to emphasize wide receiver, and we talked about that, right? So I think you did really well. Likely in Lamar be hanging out. And Zay too. Yeah. Honestly, maybe that's it. Maybe I don't know. It just seems like they were using Isaiah Likely in a different way tonight. So, are you worried about Jamar this week? No, I'm not worried about Jamar. I'm not. You think someone would pay Higgins for Worthy? I think somebody would. And I think I'm okay with that. Again, if you're getting somebody 4th, 5th round for Worthy, then maybe you do it. But I don't. And it just depends. Maybe you can try to find people who are wanting to panic buy or sell. I wouldn't. You think Moore and Rice are similar? I do too. Trade Rice for Olave. Now that would be okay because Olave is going to get the same amount of numbers, but he's more talented. Yeah, Moore did put up big numbers with bad quarterbacks. I'll give you that one. I feel like Olave isn't a great value at all. Not sure if he's much better than Rice. I definitely don't think he was a great value this season, but in terms of the talent, I do think Olave is a more talented wide receiver, but I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from. My inclination is just to hold Rice. Like, I don't even think I want to sell him. I don't want to sell Rashee Rice, guys. Hear what you're saying about Mahomes, but I got him in the 6. So oh yeah, 6. Yeah, you do it. Totally. Why is CD on the commissioner's exempt list? Is he? I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's not, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to play Sunday. Lavi's the only one who get targets Saints. That's true. He has less target competition than Rice. No tight end. I drafted Frymuth and Hawk. You got Hawk though, man. I think you did fine. Falling for a while. Appreciate it, man. Do you think Peyton is better than A-Rod? I'm assuming you're saying. Assuming you mean Peyton Manning. Do I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers? Okay. Aaron Rodgers has a better. I gotta be careful with this. I'm a Colts fan. I don't want to get disowned. Aaron Rodgers is like one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, right? But Peyton, in terms of like being a field general and being methodical and being a leader, like that kind of stuff, like reading defenses, Peyton was good at that. Rodgers just has so much natural arm talent, and so they're both very good in their own ways. I'll say that. I think I would obviously rank Peyton higher as a Colts fan, but yeah, I don't see the value there as well. Monken has never had a great running back before. Yeah, and I do think it made them a little bit more dynamic tonight rolling Derrick Henry out there. I will say that. I think the option's a little bit more effective with Derrick Henry instead of Gus Edwards. Top question, I'm worried about Andrews. Okay, so we talked about this. I think they both can be productive, even if you've got Isaiah Likely out there being productive. I think Andrews can come out and be productive as well. And I do think that you're going to see Andrews have some bounce back games. Obviously, he's getting his feet back under him after being injured. It's the first time he's played in a little bit. And it's week 1. So I'm not going to overreact yet. But hey, make sure you guys drop a like if you enjoy these post-game streams. We'll do these as much as you guys want. I'm going to do this based on the interaction we get. So drop a like if you enjoy this. And make sure if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. We still have the small town channel feel, so we can kind of hang out a little bit. But I drafted Rice, had Devonta Smith. Happy so far. Risky, but you're happy so far. You got all 3 Chiefs wide receivers. It's not bad. I'd probably diversify off some of them because odds are one of them every week's going to have a bad week. So don't trade players unless you need to. Very true, Bobby. Very true. Olave doesn't have Mahomes throwing to him. Hold Rice. I tend to agree. I don't want to trade Rice. I do not want to trade Rice. I think you guys get that. What if I don't like the post-game streams? Well, then I guess you don't have to drop a like. But you're a dork. And I know, and you're here, so selling all my likely shares ASAP. Definitely better to sell him now than when we told you to sell him, that's for sure. All the Brock owners scrambling for likely. And Goddard owners, as a Goddard owner. Packers fan, Manning has had a Rodgers all time. He has more playoff success. That I tend to agree with. Might have to pick up likely in redraft because I have Andrews in 2 leagues. Yeah, if you've got Andrews, I'd go for him for sure. I agree with you. Not a fan as Rice, the talent as much as you are, he always gets chased down. I mean, true, but Rice was 3rd in YAC last year in the entire NFL. So like, I still feel like he can get it done, man. I still feel like he can get it done. Should I trade Caleb and Higgins for Dak and Deontay? No. Yeah, keep. Should I hold Caleb or pick up Daniels? I like them both, honestly. Like on my rosters where I have Daniels, I have an insurance quarterback. So I prefer Daniels. I drafted him before Caleb this year, but I'll just say that. I don't know after going into week 1. O-line was really bad. Andrews was blocking for Lamar. That's true. That is what part of it. And I don't think the O-line's going to be that bad. And again, maybe it was like, hey, we're playing the Chiefs this week. We're playing this defensive line. Mark, we need you to freaking block this week. Maybe that was it. So maybe we shouldn't be that worried about it. But 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, 10-man league. Have a Brown, Puka, Rice, Marvin Harrison Jr., Pittman, traded Pittman and Pollard for Waddle win or loss. I'm good with that. I know you're kidding, buddy. I don't. You don't bother me. You're not gonna bother me. Was offered Marvin Harrison Jr. for Amari Cooper. Took it in a heartbeat. Yeah, for sure. Dynasty, JJ, Caleb, and Brees were likely. Likely. Avery have half PPR double flex. Starting Kyron and Jacobs. Cup, Amon-Ra need 2 flex now from Pittman, Christian Watson, Zamir, Javonte, or Ford, leaning Christian Watson. I'd go Pittman and Christian Watson there this week. Obviously, any of those running backs are not bad flexes either because those are all going to get they're all going to get volume. But I like the receivers in that matchup. You're going to have to decide if you want safety in the running back or risk in Christian Watson. But Pittman is his first guy I'm for sure flexing. Appreciate you, Lambo. You guys are the best. By far the most active Dynasty and redraft channel on YouTube. Appreciate that. That's when you're growing a channel, it's what you got to do, right? You got to be on live streams at 12:51 a.m. Heck, I got to feed my newborn in the middle of the night tonight too. So I'm probably going to be up for a while. Love it. Can't wait for the domain Isaiah Likely will be tied in one in underrated video. Domain Fantasy Football always loved Likely's price. That's exactly how it went. I'm glad you remember that. What channel is this? Right. No. We were not fans in Dynasty, so you also don't like week 12 in the gold league. Saying about Monken because it's so obviously when Henry was getting the ball. I think so too. And I think as the season goes on, they'll figure out how to use him better, right? And so that's why I don't think I'm panicking about Derrick Henry right now. I'm not panicking about anybody. Neighbors, Devontae, Dallin, Rome. What 2 should I play? Assuming just Devontae and Neighbors. Yeah, I think you just go Devontae and Neighbors there. Dell's a good matchup this week against the Colts, but he's going up against Kenny Moore, who is the only good cornerback on the Colts. Odunze is a factor. Yeah, I agree with you. Rice and Likely were both good at the end of the season. Is continuing. Yeah, I that's true. Both of them were good at the end of last season, and so maybe that's something that just continues into this season. We'll see. I need to see it consistently from Likely. I feel like I've seen it more consistently from Rice. Just here for Avery's lovely mug to fill my screen. It's interesting. You guys mind not having Nathan next to me? It is weird, but it is nice not having to drive to the studio to do streams. I will say that. I decided that your guys' advice were watching because y'all had the best picks in the flock league. Right on. I'm glad that's what brought you here. We felt pretty good about our flock drafts. I'm not gonna lie. And in that, I gotta see what happened in that league tonight. I had I had the Ravens defense this week. I got 4 points, but I was playing the Chiefs defense who had 5 points. So still projected to win in the flock league this week. That I'm happy about. I am playing a dev though, so it doesn't really matter. Shout out Austin. Drafted Addison over Ward the other day, and regret has seeped in. One game, you haven't even seen Addison yet. Don't go crazy yet. Love content. Thanks, man. Appreciate you watching. Congrats on the newborn. Thank you. I guess he's not a newborn. He's just a baby now because he's born 5 months ago, but he's in the NICU for a while. So, but yeah, it's fun having a kid. I love it. He traded Henry, Pickens, and Goddard for ETN, Kincaid, and McLaurin. I mean, right now, it looks like a pretty good trade. If you don't feel good about Henry right now, it looks like a pretty good trade. But who are you most excited to see week 1? I'm excited about the Dallas backfield. I'm not necessarily excited about that one just because, you don't know what to expect. But Brian Thomas, so the rookies, Jaleel, and the whole Chicago offense. I think in week 1, I'm excited to see, obviously, Anthony Richardson, right? I really want to see what he was going to do. The rookie wide receivers, like you mentioned, I feel like are guys I'm going to be keeping a really close eye on this week. But guys that switch teams, like Calvin Ridley, guys like that, I'm interested to see how they do in their new situations. So, rather punt 1 week than a bunch. That's true. Rice looking even more appealing to trade now. Might just dude for Brees instead of Kyron. Yeah, I mean, Rice is looking. Again, I don't know, guys. I'm not trading Rasheed, but keep us up to date on the flock leagues as it goes on. Absolutely, yeah. I'll keep you guys super updated. I can give you guys an update right now. Not a ton happened tonight. I was the one playing Zay Flowers. I was playing against him, so it's 16-4 right now, but I'm still favored to win that game. The only other guy, I think one of our devs had Rasheed Rice, it looks like. Danny and Zach are tied. Yeah, Sal's favored to beat Corey right now. So yeah, and we're going to do a vlog every week, so you guys can follow along on the Flock channel. If you want to follow the Flock League on YouTube, we have fun. There's going to be some good stuff on there every week. I've already recorded some stuff for it this week. Aaron Rodgers is the best natural thrower of all time in football in my lifetime. I'm 40. And I think you're right. I agree with you. He's definitely the best natural thrower of my lifetime, and I'm a lot younger than you. But I that's what I think. Thinking of holding Rome for now, maybe play in the future. I'll just trade Rice for Terry, so happy with that. Yeah, I mean, I would take Rice, but If you like Terry, then. Should I put Keon Coleman or Brian Thomas as my flex in week 1? If you're going with a rookie wide receiver, I'm probably going to go Brian Thomas, I think. I don't know. They're about even. Brian Thomas was Angry Bob King's answer. Can't believe the impact Worthy had immediately in week 1. I passed him for Brian Thomas in some Dynasty because I like his ability to be the X. And I still don't think that's necessarily like the wrong choice. We had them in the same tier. We did have Worthy ahead of him. But again, we haven't even seen Brian Thomas play yet. And with Worthy, it was 3 touches and he scored 2 touchdowns. How often is that going to happen? I'm excited about Worthy. I feel like I can actually I feel a little bit vindicated with Xavier Worthy, but again, it doesn't mean everything yet. So, should I flex Addison over Swift or Najee? Probably do Swift there. I think probably Swift. Week 1, maybe one video a week reviewing the various domain Flock League results you guys formed recently. So it's going to be, we're going to post one video a week on the Flock channel. Everybody's going to have some clips in it, and it's going to be a recap of the whole week. So you guys will be able to follow along everything on the Flock League channel, and we're going to have all the results and stuff there. I'd encourage you to subscribe because it's going to be some good content. Drop Chase Brown and pick up AD Mitchell. I just hold Brown for now. Let's wait till we see those guys. So rather have BTJ. Yeah, I mean, again, I like BTJ still, so. Start sit question, 2 of Moore, Dell, Connor, Keenan. Who do you think? I like DJ Moore, so I'm going to go him. I like Tank Dell next after that because he's playing the Colts. I think he's going to slice the Colts apart, man. I think all the Texans will. Are you concerned about Kyron and the punt return news at all? No. Blake Corum is a kick returner, so no. I think Sean McVay is screwing with all of us. I really do. Saw Brian Thomas Jr. at MBS in the preseason. Nice catch for 30. Yeah, and I think that again, I think Brian Thomas is going to be fine. We haven't even seen him play yet, so I can't make any conclusions about Brian Thomas Jr. after this game. So not after the Chiefs Ravens game. I started Rice now. I don't know if I should start Moore or DK. Moore and DK. Let me check. Let me see who I would start this week. So DK this week has an okay matchup against the Broncos. I'd probably just lean DJ Moore. DJ Moore's matchup is also not great against the Titans. I think just pick your favorite, man. I think they're kind of the same tier for us. Can't remember where we had them ranked, but got Tyreek, Ayuk, McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Coleman for wide receivers. Wouldn't want to trade Rice either, but you're getting Kyron. Yeah. Started Worthy. Look at this guy. Congrats, Eddie. Good job. Way to take the risk and start rookie wide receivers. Nathan and I need to quit fading rookie wide receivers in our week 1 rankings. That's for sure. Pacheco, Moss, 4 as running backs. Yeah, again, your team would be stacked. So appreciate y'all. Drop a like if you would. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. But drop a like if you like stuff like this. As are Derrick Henry's days of breaking through lines for massive long touchdowns over? Those days are probably over. And I feel like we knew that coming into the season. I feel like we knew that Derrick Henry was going to be a guy that, was going to be touchdown or bust. He's kind of touchdown or bust at this point. I don't really think he has the burner speed anymore. Still a freak, but I don't think so. So, would you flex Josh Palmer, Christian Watson, or Jamison Williams? I lean Josh Palmer there. He's the safest of those guys, and I think they're all good starts this week. All 3 of those guys were on our starts video today. PPR 10 team: Mahomes, Hall, Pacheco, Harrison, Kupp, Cooper, Najee, Hopkins, Lockett, McBride, Watson, Williams. That's a really good team. That's a really good team. Even in a 10 team, it's good. Thoughts on the new Big Ten? Good question. Oregon alum, we had a bad week. Ohio State coming 10-12. Yeah, so it is weird. It was weird when we added Rutgers, right? I mean, it was weird when we added Maryland. Like we're going way to the East Coast now. But now we're all the way to the West Coast. It's interesting. I think it's good for football. I think it's decent for basketball as well. I don't know. The mega conferences, I don't really have a hard opinion on them. I'm definitely not like a grumpy old man about that. So it could be cool. I'm open-minded about it. It'll be weird playing them in like basketball though. Worried about Sean McVay screwing with all of us. No, I'm not. BTJ will still have to wait, but Worthy looked explosive. Worthy looked, he got that ball in the end round and you saw him like take off and you're like, oh my gosh. Trade away Zeke for Corum. Zeke was my backup. Couldn't risk it. My backups. You couldn't. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Fantasy side, my buddies are all saying Lamar's a choke artist. What's your opinion on that? Now, Lamar looked great on the last drive. Now, he missed the throw in the end zone, but it doesn't mean he's a choke artist. I mean, nah, I think your buddies are just a little bit too reactionary on that one. Choke artists. I mean, the dude won MVP last year. Like, seriously. Drafted Kupp and Zamir over Walker and Rice. And half people already think it's correct. I would take Kupp over Walker. So Kupp and Zamir over Walker and Rice. You know, I'd probably prefer Walker and Rice. But if Kupp goes off, it will be worth it. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. My wide receiver room is CD, Nico, Kupp, and Rice. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Who should I be looking at to trade? Upgrade wide receiver. Good question. I like CD and Nico there. I like Rice. Oh, upgrade running back. My bad. Kupp would be the guy out of that room that I would trade. I like to keep the other guys, I think. So it would probably be Kupp for me. But I don't think you need to. I think on ESPN, a lot of people underrated these rookie wide receivers. Yeah, ESPN, the wide receivers were the rookies in general, were really cheap. Should I start Hurts and Smith? Yeah, do it. So, all right, y'all. It's 1 a.m. now, so I'm probably gonna hop off of here. But this was fun, and like I said, drop a like before you leave if you want to do more of these. We can do these after the late games if you guys want to. But I definitely appreciate you guys coming out. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, we're obviously Nathan and I are in this to win it. Like we want to give you guys the best fantasy content we can. So I would encourage you to stick around. Would encourage you to get in the comments in the videos, say, hey, we'd love interacting with you guys. But this has been fun. And like I said, we'll do more of this. Great start to the NFL season. Really